Coming to you from the My Little Falls studio, here in beautiful Little Falls, New York, it's your host, Scott Kinville, and another episode of Marty's Illegal Stick.
Hey, what's up, hockey fans, and welcome to episode number 43 of Marty's Illegal Stick, recorded here on September 15th, 2021. We have got a great show lined up for you tonight, but we don't have Gump. There's nothing wrong with Gump. He's just got some other commitments that he can't be here, so he's home. But in his place, I have brought in a pinch hitter, if you will, a substitute. A friend of mine, been friends for a long time. He's a Tampa Bay Lightning super fan. He's leaving us tomorrow. He's moving down to North Carolina, so he's been wanting to come on the show. I says, well, I guess we got one last chance then. So I'm going to bring him in. Mr. Matt Bowdiak, how are you, bud?
Good, Sky. Thank you for having me. And thank you, everybody.
This is going to be
joining.
This is going to be fun. Don't worry. We'll take it easy on you, so it's okay.
No, we won't.
I can unpucker now, or
No.
You'll be fine.
Get ready, buddy.
Oh, man. And to my left, of course, is our trusty producer, the man who saves the day behind the scenes, as always. It's Dave the Save Warner. How are you?
I'm doing great.
See, you're anxiously awaiting your countdown.
I am. It's countdown time.
Yes, we were. So everybody knows, before the show started, Dave informed me that there's actually a space launch tonight. I did not know this.
Yes.
4 civilians going into space. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's right now T-minus 55 minutes.
And there's no space shuttle. I can't believe it.
How much do they have to pay for this?
They didn't. This is just a fundraiser for St. Jude. They're raising money. Yeah.
So they volunteered to be shot into space.
I would go.
Well, Dave told us they were shot for 6 months, so I don't know.
I'd go.
Yeah. Well, just make sure it's not when we're recording the show, because,
I'd be back before the next show.
We need you here for that.
If I go tomorrow, I'll be back by next Thursday.
I don't know.
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time. All right. And our other panelist, as always, with us, the Professor Jeremy Roberts. Jeremy, it's episode number 43, and you know what that means, right?
I sure do.
That's the number of your favorite player of all time.
Oh, no.
Yes,
it
is. Yes, it is. Yes,
That's what I was hitting at earlier.
I didn't get the hint. Oh, my God.
That's okay. Dave the Save missed the cue. There it is. All right.
Can't. Thank you. I knew, as soon as I saw that, and I knew, I'm like, this is gonna be terrible.
Well, I figured I'll get it out of the way early. How's that sound?
Hell, it's the little things.
That's right.
It's that sign is gone. It's on the wall.
But it's forever burned in our memories. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I know. Thanks to Dale. That was awesome.
Yes, of course. All right. I'm going to bring in our guest. Our guest is a returning guest. Actually, he was with us when our show was in its infancy. It was episode 4 he was on, and he's been gracious enough to come back on. This guy is just the accomplishments that he's got at Utica College is just unbelievable. I could start listing them, but we'll probably be here all night. So I'm just going to bring him in. Coach Gary Heenan of the Utica College men's ice hockey team. Coach, how are you?
Hey, guys. Good to be back with you. Awesome.
So how's it going? All right?
Everything's going well. We're pretty fired up. We're a healthy group, and we're just around the corner from having a season start and some normalcy. The fans are back. We're middle of selling sponsorships, which is going great. So everything's very positive here.
Beautiful, beautiful news. So, I mean, they're going to be full capacity then?
Yeah, what we're hearing is full capacity. I think you're going to see that there'll be some vaccination guidelines if you're over 12, but otherwise it'll be wear a mask in there for the kids under 12. But we just crossed over 3,000 season tickets sales, so it's we expect a full house.
Wow, that's just amazing, and it's great to see that the support has not wavered at all. Even despite everything that happened last year. And I know, like, everybody is just so pumped up for everything to just start all over again. Is there been any major changes coming up within the conference or even within your program since you last played a full season?
Yeah, there has been a major shift in the conference because one of the more traditional powerhouses has left, Elmira. So they left and followed Hobart into a conference further east from here. And we enter a school, Arcadia, out in the Philadelphia region. So this conference continues to move west. And, I think that wasn't in Elmira's plans to keep traveling out to Pennsylvania, Maryland. So they chose to go elsewhere. So you will see a new team in the odd, actually relatively shortly. I think they're our first regular season conference game in first week of November. So I think, it's a brand new program that this team is. They're going to have a rude awakening waiting for them at the odd in their first conference.
yeah. That's very true. Actually, today I met up with one of your players, Brett Everson, and he was. I asked him about the new team that I didn't even recognize on the schedule. He goes, yeah, it's like their first year, and I went, oh boy. Yeah. I go, and we got him at home. He goes, yeah. I go, oh boy. I go, well, welcome to hockey, boys. But
it's gonna be truly welcome to the jungle, right? I mean, just like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that's a Friday night game, and we're going to be coming off of playing a couple powerhouses, Adrian twice, and on Oswego. So our game should be really elevated at that point. For any first year team, it's a challenge, but to be playing when we're playing those teams, it could get ugly, and hopefully it does.
Oh, wait.
Speaking of preparations and stuff like that, I mean, I know obviously this is still not really considered a normal season because you're not coming off a normal season. But as a coaching staff, what kind of preparations do you guys make in the offseason to get ready?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of nice. The college made a commitment to a strength coach a few years ago, and that's not a regular thing at the Division III level. So for our athletic program to do that, we're able to hand them off. And it wasn't that long ago where I was doing all the dry land training and the off-season conditioning. And to be honest, it just the guys get tired of your voice, tired of your draft. And I think that's just natural. So to be able to hand them off to our strength coach, Nate, and he does a super job with them, and I'm able to focus on some of the bigger issues of the program and some of the organizational pieces, the logistics. It's just healthy. So those guys are we in touch with the guys? Of course we are. We're checking in, we're saying hello, we're getting them their equipment, their sticks, their patterns. But more so it's just, hey, how are you? How you feeling? And then we're monitoring their test results. But this is we're entering a season for the first time that I can remember where we're completely healthy. We don't have a single guy that's nursing a surgery coming off a knee or a hip surgery or a shoulder or a wrist surgery. So, we're old, we're healthy. I say old pot in a positive way. We're full of veteran leadership and feeling really good about ourselves.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, because when you say old, I mean, I'm 47. Like, wait a second, these kids can't be even half my age. So
well, they might be half your age, Scotty.
Nah, I don't think so. Not quite. Coach, how many players do you have returning from the previous team?
I think we're 21. We got 28 total. 21 came back, so we're introducing 7 guys. There are some transfers in there. So they're not true freshmen, so to speak. Well, none of them are true freshmen, but we've got a good group. We've got 4 Canadians in this class, which is also probably the largest in any single class we've ever had of Canadian boys. And that's there's a British Columbia kid from the Vancouver area. There's a Manitoba, one from Montreal, and one from Nova Scotia. So we really did go across the country finding guys. And it was a difficult year recruiting because Canada basically shut down their junior hockey. Mm-hmm. The U.S. had played. So a number of these guys actually made their ways down to U.S. leagues. For instance, Del Monte ended up in Amarillo, Texas, playing in the North American Hockey League. So that's really where we flew down and saw him play and got to know him down there. But so it was a challenge. There was a lot of disruption in schedules and leagues, just like ours in the pro leagues. But we got it done. We really like this freshman group. We like our returning group. We're going to miss Connor Landrigan, obviously, one of our captain and All-American. And I can't say it publicly, but he's going to have some real exciting news on the 23rd, I believe it'll be announced. Where he signed to play pro hockey this year. So we wish
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. And, I tell you, that's given everything that's gone on, that's actually very impressive to be able to get 4 Canadians with the border being closed. Obviously, you couldn't go across the border at all, right, for any kind of recruiting purposes?
Yeah, it's a challenge. Even now, it's a challenge. So their leagues are all starting up again, and normally we're going out every weekend. They usually do a Labor Day showcase in the Central Hockey League up there, and that is now October 8th, 9th, 10th weekend. And, you know, you've got to test 72 hours before and do all those things to get up there. So I think there will be less teams going up there from U.S. colleges. We'll certainly be up there and do what we have to do to get up there. Coming down the way, yeah, as long as our guys have their student visas and they were vaccinated, they were allowed entry. So we're a vaccinated team. There are some schools that, the SUNY schools, if you're not vaccinated, you're not allowed on their campuses. So it's a challenge for a lot of different sports. But Utica College has done a phenomenal job. Our vaccination rate as an institution is at like 97%. So
Wow.
There's been no incidents on campus. Kids are living normal college lives right now. And it's really great to see. There's a lot of energy on campus.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, you know, I don't think you realize just how much you would miss it until it's been gone for a while, you know? And so I mean, this is kind of a strange question, but because of the events of last year with the things getting shut down the way they did, were there any players that were given a little bit extra eligibility for this year because of the season, you know, being, well, messed up as it was? Or
yeah, so every guy got an extra year of eligibility that was rostered last year. So
good. Not
only just the seniors, which I think is an assumption out there, it's even the freshmen, they ended up getting another year. And we, you know, what did we end up playing? I think 10 games officially plus 2 versus the USA team. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we managed to keep the group together, you know, play some hockey games, play some really good hockey games, put another pretty good winning streak together. And so we do have an advantage. You know, we're playing Oswego in our first exhibition game in a few weeks, and they didn't play any games last year. So they're really looking at a year and a half. And to get that group back together and the chemistry and the camaraderie, I mean, that's a challenge for some of those coaches. But luckily enough, we had the leadership on campus and, you know, flexed some gray areas and made sure we were able to play some hockey games. So we're really excited to get it going again.
Yeah, and that's excellent because that's, you know, what I meant. I mean, the season was, well, discombobulated at best, you know, the best way you could put it, I guess. And that's fantastic that they allowed the players, even though you did get a few games in, like you said. I mean, that's really not fair to them to take an entire year of eligibility away because of what happened, even if you did only play 10 games. So that's phenomenal. Very glad to hear it. So as far as the season goes, there were some outdoor games scheduled for last year up at Griffiths Air Force Base. And you guys were going to be a part of it, but unfortunately they were, of course, canceled. So has there been any word if you guys are going to be involved with that this year or if it's even going to happen?
Yeah, so I think what you're going to see is that's just with the uncertainty again with this virus. There's so much work and preparation and money spent. They're not going to risk it again. You know, they're not going to risk a shutdown. So it is on the books. I can't go public with the date. But it is on the books for next year. So we're excited. We've definitely been told we're going to be a partner in that with the Comets. But look for that on our schedule a year down the road in 22-23.
That's really awesome. That is great news because, you know, like I said, you know what? And that Griffiths Air Force Base would be a phenomenal place to have a game.
Well, yes, but you also got to think it's going to be extremely windy.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
You got to figure you're going out there in what, January, February?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you need the cold weather, yes, but there's nothing blocking anything.
Well,
like, you're not going to get nothing.
So what are you saying? A gust of wind picks up a shot from the point can turn into a curveball. I mean,
yeah. Hey, there you go. It's the original knuckle puck right there.
Yeah. Well, no, just take one of the old B-52s, park it on the runway, block the wind. You're all set.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
I mean, I can't. Like, I was excited when I saw that, and the first thing I thought, I'm like, I don't care how cold it is, but I mean, man, 3 periods outside, it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Yeah, wait till you see the actual plans, and I know those were never released, but
Right.
they're making use of all the hangars that are up there and the party atmosphere they're going to create, and the wind probably will be blocked because they're bringing in 16,000 seats.
Wow.
So I don't know.
That'll be awesome.
I probably wasn't supposed to say that either, but
That was already info that was already out there. Don't worry about it.
Let me pull that right up on the screen.
No.
Yeah,
I think he was just talking about the last time they planned it. That's all. No, don't worry.
Yes.
So I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a spectacular scene, and we're just happy we were invited to partner with them.
Right.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to happen. And matter of fact, I might take the whole week off from work I might have to put in for vacation now as soon as I find that date. So, because I'll probably have frostbite because I'll be one of the ones that'll be sitting out there for the entire all games. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. So coach, I mean, this program that you've built is just phenomenal. It really is. And, Utica College, in my opinion, anyway, doesn't get enough credit for the revitalization of hockey in Central New York. Really, when you guys came along, the Mohawk Valley Prowlers were here, but then they left shortly after your program was established. And without you guys, there wouldn't have been hockey until the Comets came along. Really. So tell me, what was the driving force behind getting the Utica College program started? Because I was going to ask you this the last time we talked, and somehow I never got around to it. So
yeah. At the time, our president, Dr. Todd Hutton, and he was charged with really revitalizing Utica College in general. And he decided the way he was going to do that is create a more vibrant athletic program. So I think at the time we had 12 athletic teams, and he just, with Jim Spartano, the athletic director at the time, said, hey, we're going to get this to be one of the finer Northeast private schools by bringing in 700 student athletes. And so that's where we are today with 26 athletic programs. Hockey was one of the last ones started. I think you guys know it's one of the more expensive sports.
Sure.
But to create men and women, and then you're right. At the time, the Prowlers were in the odd. They went bankrupt that year we were starting, and it was just fate. It was luck that building became just ours, and it was a blank canvas. I remember personally buying all those dasher boards and going out and selling those just to get people involved and sponsors and get some energy in there. And the board at the time, the Audit Authority, was blown away. I don't think they knew what we were capable of doing in that building. And at some point, obviously, getting more fans than the Prowlers or the Colonial Hockey League. So it was fun. I mean, it was just fun creation, and I don't think our college knew what was possible. I think I certainly was surprising ourselves of how much this community rallied around our program. And today, we were threatened when the Comets came in. We didn't know if we would be able to coexist. And, our fan is just a different fan. It's a different price point. It's a different energy in the odd. It's a family atmosphere with our games. And it's just a credit to this town, this community, that we can fully support two hockey programs at the level that we do.
Oh yeah, because there's no doubt about that. I mean, and you're right. I didn't really think about that, but I mean that kind of had to be a little bit stressful for you guys at first when the Comets announced they were coming in. Seeing as you were the only game in town, but I mean it's just worked out so phenomenally. It really has. And speaking of the Comets, I'm sorry, Jared, go ahead.
No, I remember I was a senior the year hockey started at campus, and I think it was an unspoken word that more people are excited for hockey than they were for the football program. I'm not saying anything, not taking anything away from that, but it was a different sport. Like you didn't see like college hockey in the area. I mean, you had Hamilton, you had Colgate, but it was different. The odd was always something that needed the hockey.
Right.
And when the hockey program came in, it just exploded. It exploded all over again, and it didn't take long. And Coach can attest to that. And I mean, for UC hockey to do what they did and how they are in the community, it's blown up more than probably he's ever expected.
Yeah, for sure, no question.
No, the thing is, I mean, like I said, you just can't put into words just how much of a success story not only the team on the ice, but just what they did for the area is just hats off to you and your program, Coach. Really.
Oh, thank you.
But speaking of the Comets, so last year you were on TV quite a bit when they were televising the Comets games.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, I'm serious. You and Jason Shire were unbelievable. You were unbelievable in between periods. It was phenomenal. And I know I use that word an awful lot, and I'm sorry but like I said, there's no other way to put it. So I know you're going to be very busy this season with Utica College. But is there any chance at all we're going to see you on the AHL TV broadcast at all this year?
Yeah, so like Jason Shy, I didn't even know him. He called me up and said, I guess you're some hockey guy in town. And he brought me and he was like, maybe we'll bring you in between periods, draw something up. And when we met, he's like, why don't we just throw you right on the air? We'll see how it goes. And it's just a COVID year that we weren't traveling, our team wasn't playing, and jumped on the invite from him and Rob Esch, and it was just fun. I mean, it's just watching hockey, which obviously I love to do, and breaking down the game from a coach's perspective. And I had a blast with it, and I really did. And strange you asked, because Shy grabbed me literally today, and just said, if it ever works out where you're off, would you be willing to do it? And of course I would. So hopefully I can get a few games in. It's an enjoyable experience, and I learned things. You're watching it, you're breaking it down at a level of pro hockey that's really, really good. So able to interact with those coaches behind the scenes, and the professionalism of Shy, who's awesome. And it was different because there's nobody in the building, right? So it was,
right.
Yeah.
Where this year, you'd be walking up to the booth in front of 4,000. So it'll be a different experience again this year, and one hopefully again I get to take advantage of.
Yeah, but you got to be used to being like in front of 4,000 people, because Utica College packs the house every night. So have you ever done anything like that before? Or?
I've never done anything like that. Never. I've never called a game. I was fortunate enough to have Eddie Olchuk as an assistant coach, Eddie Jr., and so gotten to know Eddie Sr. and personal friends with them and their family. And so you watch Eddie on the TV every single night. And so when I was asked to do it, I just try to emulate some of the things he does. And, I think he's one of the best in the business, no question about it. So
Absolutely.
It's just talking. You got a mic in front of you talking, breaking down a game. It was an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I so enjoyed it because, I mean, in watching like the NFL broadcast when Tony Romo's on. Tony Romo is phenomenal to listen to a game. And again, there I say that word again, but but just because he basically can predict the play before it even happens. And I'm telling you right now, listening to you on the broadcast, that's all I could think of, because it was exactly, I was waiting for you to get the telestrator out like John Madden used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the night that I first heard you, I think I texted you and I said, I think you may have found another career here.
Yeah. There was some text going around, and it was fun, guys. It was unexpected. I don't think obviously I'll ever have that opportunity to do something like that again on like a full-time basis, which it was. So it was great work with those people, and really class act. They've done a super job, and I was pumped to hear they're going to stay with it, because I think a lot of people thought, well, the TV's done because the fans are back, so they're going to give it another kick in the can. And great for us. They're stuck at home on certain nights and can't make it to the rink.
Excellent news. So with the Pioneers, I know like last year they were putting some of the games on their website page. You said they got through over $3,000 or 3,000 people for season tickets. So just so people that are listening would maybe try to get a single game ticket, how would they go about that?
Yeah, so we opened up another 200 season tickets a couple weeks ago. So the odd box office, I know they have sold a bunch of those. So there might be an opportunity to get a season ticket still. But for all the individual game tickets, those will open up around the October 1 date. And that's when the season ticket booklets will be available as well. So it all runs through the box office at the odd. So call down there if you want a season ticket right now. For the individual games, I think you got to wait till October 1 before you can scoop them up.
Excellent news. Excellent. I'm sure you guys will completely sell the building out once again, as usual. And so I'm assuming since everything's back to normal, the teddy bear toss is on again?
It is. It's December 4th. I think December 4th versus King's College. So another game that should be a win, better be a win.
Scotty, if you've never seen that game, it's that's the game where coach is probably in the locker room going, okay, boys, now which one's going to score this one, and how fast is it going to happen?
You're going to want to get there early that night. But we present, our schedule to New York Stash, probably our most dedicated sponsor over the years, and they pick the game. So they pick that game, and they do an unbelievable job with the logistics. But no question about it, that's our marquee game. That's our game on NBC. It will be televised on NBC again this year. So yeah, that's the one the guys kind of all look forward to, and it happens to be King's College, not a very strong team in our league this year. So it better be a win and better be a win.
Yeah. Yeah.
You heard right there. It better be. No, you can say it damn all better be. Right?
Yeah.
Well, Coach, the exhibition season starts October 16th. You got a game the 16th and the 23rd, both exhibition games. And then you open up at home for the regular season October 30th against Adrian College, correct?
Yeah. Our I mean, obviously Oswego is one of the powerhouses, and I think we're exactly 500 versus them in our lifetime. So really, and that's includes 7 ties. I mean, it's so close when we play them. So looking forward to that, going up to their barn, which is a great rink, and then Cortland coming to ours will be our second game, exhibition of prep hockey, and then Adrian comes in and talk about we went up to
house
2 years ago. We went up to their barn and won 7-6 in overtime both games. Just exciting, and 2 steals up there, and that propelled us to going on to win 20 straight that year and get us to the number 1 ranking in the nation. So those are enormous games for those non-conference games versus top 5 opponents. They mean so much to the NCAA. Decisions that happen 5 months, 6 months later. I don't think the fans understand the gravity of how important those 2 games are for whether we have a successful season or not. You have to win those games.
Yep.
I'm sure you guys will certainly do your part to make that happen. That's for sure. So, Coach, we just want to thank you for coming on. I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I'm sure you got a lot of things going on and you got all kinds of preparation work you're into. But we just thank you for taking the time to come over and talk to us. And best of luck this season. We know you guys are going to be great.
Awesome hearing from you guys. Let's check back in another month or so.
Absolutely. Love
Coach.
to have you back. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
have a good
Gary.
night. It was Coach Gary Heenan from the Utica College men's ice hockey team. What a great guy. You know what? Every time we talk to him, it's just he's one of those guys you could just sit there and just talk to, no problems. Even though you're talking to one of the most successful coaches around.
Doesn't even act. No, he doesn't. And it's great. We didn't really get into too much, but I mean, his kids play. And we obviously, with my kid being on the Comets, his kids are also a part of the Comet organization. And we went out to a tournament back in June, and he was there, and we just we were watching. I think we were still watching playoff hockey. Yeah, playoffs were on, and we were just shooting the shit. It was just a normal thing. Every now and then we talk about UC stuff, but other than that, it was just down to earth, very, very mellow, very fun. Very fun.
Now, when you say UC, you mean Utica College, not Utica Club, right?
Well, although I don't drink the clubs, so
Yeah. No, neither did Gumper does.
yeah.
It's, if Gump was here and I mentioned that, oh my God, where is it, Dave? He'd probably go into Dave's refrigerator right now looking
would.
for it. There's no doubt.
I think there's Miller Lite in there. I don't know what's in there.
I don't know why, but I don't support the local brewery. I just can't get into their product. I just can't do it.
Yeah, that's well, don't worry, Gumper makes up for you. It's all good.
Have you brought him down to Iron Rock to get some
No,
craft
I
stuff?
haven't yet.
Jeremy, you need to make a visit here to Little Falls.
I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, Jeremy, that would be a great road trip for you to come down
You
here.
would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we should do a show from there sometime. We
you
keep
know what?
talking about that.
Mike would be 1,000% for it.
Yeah, we could do our trivia show from there.
That'd be cool.
There we go. We could do a breakaway trivia show and just watch Gump's head explode because.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, speaking of breakaway trivia, that was the perfect segue, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we do that? Let's end this segment with breakaway trivia like we always do. So breakaway trivia is brought to you by Jimmy the Iceman McNeil's children's book, The Red and White Zamboni Ice Machine. To order your copy, you can email Jimmy at mac_iceman@hotmail.com. And I do apologize. I forgot to bring the copy with me today.
Oh,
But it's on our website, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
all right.
Anyways, this week's breakaway trivia question is, who holds the all-time NHL record for most shots on goal in a career? The answer when we come back.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And
Scotty,
welcome
say
back,
it.
everybody. Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead,
what?
Scotty. Go ahead, say it. You know you're going to say it.
Welcome back, everybody. This is segment 2 of Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Hot Takes.
No, that's not what he's talking
That's
about.
not what I'm talking about.
Yep.
All right, I missed it. What?
You haven't said it yet.
What?
I just love that music. I couldn't
You know
get
what,
off
though?
on that.
You're right. Well, I'm so distracted, right? Because Dave, I got to tell you guys, I mean, Dave is like right into this space launch.
I'm into this.
I can't believe it. I mean, he is like intently watching this thing.
You know,
There, he's going to put it up on the
it's on
screen
my
for
phone.
everybody. Yeah.
You know, it's like T minus, where are we? 25, you know, so.
Yes, you know what? We ought to start a
25 seconds or 25 minutes?
Minutes.
You know, he
Well, I'll let you know.
What channel is it on?
It's on Dave's phone, whatever that is.
It's probably on any news channel, you know, like CNN or Fox or any of them.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave keeps talking about how he wants to go on the next one. So we should run a poll. Should Dave the Save go into space? Yes or no?
You know, I sent you into space one time playing hockey. So.
Yes, you did.
Yes, all right.
It'd be
You
the
certainly
sequel.
did.
It'd be the sequel to Space Cowboys.
Yeah, space producers.
You know what? I like that. I could do that.
Eastwood's
Yeah,
still
remember-
alive. Well, it's Tommy
Yeah,
Lee
yeah.
Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Eastwood.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They both
see?
look kind of sickly, but they,
Well,
Joe Biden too. Leave him up there.
Come on, man.
I don't want to get into that.
Come on.
I don't wanna get-
I'm not going with him.
No.
Come on, man.
He'd start sniffing my hair.
Oh, boy.
Come on, man.
Come
Oh,
on,
boy.
man.
man.
Let's get back to space. No.
Oh, let's get back to hockey, shall we?
Yeah, all right.
Hockey hot takes to start, as we always do, with the breakaway trivia answer. But I'm going to give you guys the question one more time. And the question is, who holds the NHL all-time record for most shots on goal in a career? Matt, since you're new here, I'll give you the first crack.
I would go with Phil Esposito.
It's a good guess.
Really?
That's a good guess.
How about Dave?
Well, okay, so just say Gretzky.
It's a guess.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
guess.
You always go with Gretzky.
I don't
You know why?
other
Because when
names.
you're talking about trivia questions,
It's generally it's an
No,
excellent
No, I'm
guess.
going to either go with Gordie Howe or I'm going to go with Gretzky.
right? I was going to say, because unless you're talking about
Yeah.
penalties and minutes, then forget about Gretzky.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
All right. How about you, Professor? What do you think?
Yeah. I don't like. I
hate this.
hate this question.
Oh, come on. You looked it up
I mean,
ahead
you
of
It's
time.
not Tom Wilson. I can
gotta
tell you
go-
that.
Yeah,
No,
really.
it's definitely not Tom Wilson. You got to go with somebody that's old, you would think, or somebody that you've seen that's younger, that's taken a lot of shots. Like, and that leads me to go with Ovechkin, and you got Yager, and I don't know.
Is
And
this going to be like last week when you picked one from the past
Can
the
I?
present? Sure. I'll let you. Just
I'll
because.
go.
You
go
know the
Ovi,
answer.
Ovi and Yager. I don't know. I'm not confident in that though.
Okay. Well, Yager's number 2, if that makes you feel any better.
All right. Well, so Ovi's not one.
No. The number 1 is Ray Borg.
What?
You
Ray
know
Borg.
what? And I would have.
Really?
Yeah.
6,206 shots on goal in his career.
Yeah, Jeremy's like, I would have picked
And
him.
that's like 800 more than Yager. Believe it or not. It wasn't even close.
Really?
And
Yeah.
only one cup, right?
1 cup.
Wow.
That was it. Man. Yep. So,
A lot of shots.
Well,
There
at
you go.
least I got two.
yeah, because I let you have 2 answers.
Where did Ovi place in that?
I want to say he was 5th. I don't remember, honestly. All I really remember is the top two. So
Well, I got the top 5. So
limited brain capacity here, boys. We can't be loading it up too much. I got enough useless information and trivia up there. Can't get carried away here, okay? All right. To start Hockey Hot Takes, I want to let everybody know that we have an announcement to make. We are re-recording the Zamboni Time Machines and releasing them in podcast form. We are on episode number 2, and you can catch every episode by subscribing to Marty's Illegal Stick on all major podcast platforms or by going to marty'sillegalstick.com. So, yeah, we have so much fun with that Zamboni Time Machine. I said, what the heck? I don't want to bother Dave too much with more because I'm pretty much after him every day about something inane, you know.
At least.
So I'm like, I'll give the guy a break. And I'm doing my homemade anchor recordings of them. And I've actually learned how to put a little bit of background music in. Have you listened to it yet?
No, I haven't.
You should.
Uh-oh.
I don't listen to these amateur.
Well, that's what exactly. Yeah, but I know, but that's his charm.
Oh, no,
That's his charm, right?
Jeff Bezos started in his garage, and
Yeah. See, thank you, Matt. Appreciate
Bezos
that.
should go back in his garage.
Well, he's going into space. I mean, you should
No,
be
he's
happy
not.
about that.
He didn't make it in his little penis. So, yeah.
Okay. We did such a good job of staying on the rails in segment 1, and segment 2 has gone completely off the cliff.
Did I hear that? Did I really just
Yes, you did.
All right.
Yes, you did. Somehow that got included into a hockey show. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So,
Kraken.
yeah. Mhm. Just keep watching your phone. They might launch before you know it.
Yeah, T-minus 20.
Okay, so rest in peace, Fred Stanfield, the former 2-time Stanley Cup champion with the Boston Bruins, passed away Monday at the age of 77. You know, he was so underrated, and he was one of those guys that kind of like blended into the background because you didn't see over like Esposito, Johnny Busick, Jerry Cheevers, you know. But I mean, he had 6 20-goal seasons right in a row, and everybody who played with him, he was like the unsung hero of the team. So it's unfortunate, but he was a great Bruin, no doubt about it. So happy birthday to Hall of Famers Peter Stastny and Daryl Sittler. Both have birthdays coming up this Saturday. Stastny will turn 65 and Sittler will turn 71. People forget how good Daryl Sittler was back in the day. He played for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he actually holds the NHL record for most points in one game with 10. Could you imagine that, scoring 10 points in one game? It was 5 goals, 5 assists.
Goals and 5 assists.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, of course, everybody knows what.
Who did he play? Us as like our old third league team?
Well,
had Scott in goal.
the Leafs lost that game.
Yeah.
Probably.
Did he really?
No.
Oh, all right.
They're good at losing games. That,
well, if it was in the 80s, it's possible because most of those games were like 13 to 12.
Yeah, right.
Was that a hockey score or a football game? What's going on here? I don't know. Yeah, and then, of course, everybody knows what Peter Stastny went through to get over here. Czechoslovakia was under communist rule at the time. It was 1981, I believe, he defected. And eventually he defected with his brother Anton at the same time. And then their older brother Marion came over a year later, and they all played for the Quebec Nordiques for the longest time. And then Stastny moved on to like the Devils, and there was one other team too, and it's just escaping my overloaded, useless trivia brain right now. But anyways, happy birthday to those guys. So now we're going to get to your part here, Matt, the part that you've been patiently waiting for. Most of the notable free agents in the NHL have been signed at this point. One team that lost a lot in free agency is the defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay Lightning. They would end up losing, among others, their entire third line of Blake Coleman, Yanni Gourde, and Barclay Goodrow. So
Where do you
Matt,
go again?
who's that, Goodrow?
Yeah.
the bottom feeder team over in the Metro.
You mean like the Tampa Bay Lightning to the north, the original Tampa Bay Lightning team?
Yeah.
Because we send all our guys down to Tampa
the
Bay.
team that has 3 cups in 16, 17
Oh,
years,
boy.
not one in 850.
Yeah.
That team.
Oh.
Yeah, that team. That's a very good. It's a good point. He's got it there.
Well, I
But
mean,
it's all built because it's all built with Rangers. So I mean, I guess they still won a cup. I guess, right?
No,
there's only one Ranger left, right?
Well, now, yeah, but you had Miller at one point. You had Callahan. You had
Yeah, but they didn't win with them.
Strawman. You've had no, they didn't win with them, but we've sent them all there for some odd weird. And it's all of a sudden they play better.
Well, maybe it's the better weather.
I'm thinking it's the no state sales tax. So,
See,
No personal income tax.
or yeah.
Yeah, that.
Scott and I mentioned that when I was last week, but Florida has stunk for its inception. Dallas is okay; they have no sales tax or
No personal
income tax.
Yeah.
This in Arizona, I don't think.
No, Nevada.
Also.
Yeah.
I know Seattle
Arizona
does, but
does,
they're
You know, it's funny too. It's just as a quick sidebar before we get back to that. I saw an article today saying that the Kraken might have some problems bringing free agents in because the Washington State tax rate is so high, and they're saying that players are coming in going, especially in Seattle. The cost of living in Seattle is ridiculous. I guess.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, because don't forget, this isn't the NBA where even your last line player is making $10 million a year. Right. If you're a rookie in the NHL, or if you're like on the end of your career just trying to hang on, you're making $750,000 a year, which again is good money. Don't get me wrong. But when you have cost of living issues and especially in Seattle where it's ungodly, I guess, and the fact that it rains there about 150 days out of the year, they were saying that this could be a problem for them down the road once the whole we're a new team thing wears off. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. But getting back to the Lightning, how does and forget about where they went for a second, those players. How bad is losing that third line going to hurt them? What do you think, Matt?
Gord, and he's a Ranger fan, so I'm not going to bag on Goudreau. He was excellent. Gord was. They were what they were.
They fit that system very well.
They all three of them. They just gelled at the right time.
Yep.
This year, last year they were really good, but this year they might have learned, or they just were driven even more, knowing they weren't going to be the same team. So
right.
Coleman to me was the driver of that when they got him from Jersey. Another team that just doesn't know how to either develop or build around, in my opinion. You pick those guys out of those kinds of organizations, and you let them bloom and blossom, and he did just that. So
sure,
and he wasn't riding coattails like, geez, I don't know who's done that. I think Miller didn't. I'm not picking on him, but when Miller came to Tampa, he was riding coattails, and then they shipped him off and go, well, we got what we got for him too.
Right.
Gord.
Now, in a roundabout way, didn't the Miller trade get you guys Goudreau? Because I think that first round pick that Vancouver sent for JT Miller was sent to San Jose originally for Goudreau, I believe.
I couldn't tell you the specifics.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, and we've temporarily lost Jeremy, but that's okay. He'll be back.
He'll be back.
He's taking this all in. He's taking a break.
I don't know. It's every single podcast. It just does that out of nowhere.
Well, we're just glad you came back. That's all. But yeah, I think, the ironic part is, other than Gord, who was taken in the expansion draft, really, I kind of tend to think that Coleman and Goudreau were overpaid a little bit. And you know what? Winning a Stanley Cup's going to do that, right? That's just the natural order of things.
Right.
But I really think that losing those three and what they did with that third line is going to hurt Tampa more than people think. Because, and just hear me out, Tampa is still a great team. They're still probably a favorite to come out of the East, right? But all great teams have great top sixes. All of them do. Look at it across the board. All your contenders. You don't become a contender without having a good top six.
All right.
What separates the good from the great is the ability to get production out of your third line, your fourth line, bottom pairing defense, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't really know enough about Tampa Bay to know what they got coming in the pipeline. Even with Syracuse right up the road, the crunch there. Yeah. But I think, and obviously there was no way with the contracts that they got from other teams that they were going to be able to afford to keep them. That just wasn't going to happen. It happens to all Stanley Cup teams, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that it's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt more than people think. Especially if they get hit with injuries again.
And losing those three guys, it's only made that team now older.
Yeah, Yes, that's a very valid point.
I mean, now you don't have, you still got Stammer out there. And I mean, yes, he's a very good player, but he's only getting older. And, he doesn't have, can he take that extra line break when you have a third and fourth line that can play so good? And he's like, all right, listen, I'm just going to take this one off for a little bit. Mm-hmm. Or is he going to have to jump on every single shift that he gets now?
I think that they actually did a decent job of managing his minutes. Given especially the past couple of seasons, he's had a lot of injury problems. So I think they see the writing on the wall where, he's not going to play 20, 25 minutes a night anymore.
What's he got? What's he got? 2-3 years left?
I think it's 3. I do believe it's 3. The only question mark I would think of is Hedman starting to maybe hit that downside?
He was hurt. He's getting a MCL, I believe, repaired.
Right.
It was noticeable towards the end of the season when I think they benched him or they just cut his minutes. When we knew we were making the playoffs, they're just like, okay, go rest. It was noticeable to my wife and me that he wasn't the same. And even during it, which seemed like McDonough seemed to elevate his game almost knowing that.
Former Ranger, Jeremy, there you go.
See?
Well, in his defense,
it's very true because you really did. All of a sudden, you saw McDonough all of a sudden play like a rookie again. Like I literally watched him going, where did this come from? Why is all of a sudden now is he producing when he hasn't done it?
I agree with you there. When he first came to Tampa, it was, he was elevated. And I don't know if New York does this too. It's they prop their guys up like they did with Callahan. He's a first. In New York, he was like a first liner. Anywhere else, he would have been a third liner. And when he came to Tampa, they put him on a first line, and he was like, we called him Happy Gilmore because all he would do is skate around and slam it at people. He wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, great, your heart and soul, but I need you to put the puck in the net for $5 million a year.
Right.
And I'm not, I'm not going to question his heart and souls, but I just think they were too propped up. And when McDonough also, and that was the year that they beat Boston and they choked to Washington.
They choked to Washington, yeah.
And then his second year, they obviously were swept by Columbus. And he just looked so scared, like he was. I don't know what to do. Blah blah blah. And we're like,
and he didn't protect anybody. He never got in a battle ever. And you're a defenseman, like that's your job.
Hockey smarts, I could see how he's so good with the puck and moving and where to be. But when it came to that next, we need you to elevate your game. He just couldn't do it. And he almost like relied on everybody else to do it. And he would hang out in the back, hide out in the shadows and okay. Yep. But this year he seemed to like a holy wow.
He took it to a whole new level. He really did. He stepped up and good on him because I like to see it, but I wish he just did it in New York. Even Anton Strawman that went to Tampa Bay, he was a ghost in New York. And then all of a sudden he gets to Tampa Bay and he came out of nowhere. I'm like, how he's not even good. Like, and now he's good.
I don't. Yeah. No. I just don't want to open so many. I don't want to get off track because we could bash the Rangers, right? Scott, we could bash the Rangers all day long.
Oh yeah.
Not just because, but
you're right. I don't know what you're right. They put those players on those pedestals, and it's from day one when they get there. And it's the Madison Square Garden vibe? Is it the New York City vibe? That sure. You see all these players that come in and they just cannot almost handle that pressure. But then when they get away from it, they're a whole new player.
That's a New York City thing, though, really. If you look at the Yankees, right?
Yeah, you look at
there are great players that have gone and signed with the Yankees and couldn't do anything. And then once they left the Yankees, they were right back to being elite stars.
Yeah.
On the other hand, there were players that were mediocre elsewhere, came to New York, loved the pressure, and turned into stars. So, it's I think more than anything else, that's a New York City thing.
It's the New York pressure. You get Giants, Jets. Even look at the Devils. Since they're only in New Jersey, so they're right there. But it's the same thing. Like you're right there, and that pressure and that media. It's just if you screw up one wrong way, they got you.
Yes, but I think the pressure is definitely more on the Rangers than either the Devils or the Islanders.
Oh, I agree.
There's no doubt about that.
I agree.
But,
I
you know,
100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't see Tampa falling off the top tier of teams in the Eastern Conference at all.
No, I don't think they will at all.
I'll answer your. We'll go back to your original question. I don't think it'll hurt them that much because I don't think the rest of the conference has elevated themselves to where you go, oh, geez, I'm afraid of Boston. I mean, you want to talk about Tampa's third line. Boston's got their aging first.
Right.
And you bump into those guys on the street, you go, who the hell are you?
Right.
I mean, and then Toronto to me is like Tampa. Okay, until you do something,
right?
You're the little brother. I don't get out of here. And then from there, there's just nobody that's going to challenge or has challenged them.
I'll tell you, the only one that I would think of and honestly, would be the Islanders. The Islanders played them tough, and the Islanders have that system. The only problem is that the Islanders basically replaced Jordan Eberle with Kyle Palmieri, and they didn't really add any more scoring, even though Islanders fans, something tells me that Lou Lamoriello's got something up his sleeve.
Always does.
And I wouldn't be surprised if at some point Vladimir Tarasenko lands on the island. I'm just telling you. That's what I think.
You're calling that now. I'll mark that down.
That now, and I'm also going to say this too. Now, this is, to me, a transitional year in the Eastern Conference. And what I mean by that is Tampa's going to be strong again. I do think, and I'm going to make a lot of enemies by saying this, but I think you're going to start seeing the downfall of Washington, Pittsburgh, Boston. Yep. They're all getting old.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I think at some point the party's going to end. And it may not be a precipitous drop off this year, but I'll tell you what, mark my words, 2 of those 3 teams will not make the playoffs this year.
I 100% agree with you. Because I mean, like you said, you still got Tampa Bay that obviously you can't knock off. The Islanders have done more than the Rangers, obviously. The Rangers are a very young team. Very young team. I mean, yeah, they have their leadership, but they're still a young team. I mean, Kreider's their tenured guy. And he's young. He's 20, maybe 27, 28.
Yeah, I think he's 28.
So go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
I mean, I think with Boston aging, with Washington aging, with Pittsburgh aging.
Yeah, I mean,
the Rangers could slide in that third spot.
Out of that division, yes.
Jeremy, do you think they should have parted with Kreider years ago? Because what fruit has he yielded, or what has he yielded? And
he took out Carey Price in the 14 Eastern Conference Finals, right?
I'm trying to be objective.
I know, I'm a Kreider guy. I love Kreider. I love his work ethic. I love the way he plays the game. I love how he gets gritty as a forward, and I love how he can park himself in front of that net and not be afraid of that puck. But you're right. What has he done? Nothing. I don't want to see him go for just anyone. I would like to see someone come in that can fit that system. Now, with our new head coach this year, I think Kreider fits his scheme to a T. So, I mean, we'll see. This may be the make or break year for Kreider to remain a Ranger.
You give him the 3-4 months to see what Gallant can
extract
from
do.
those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, it pains me to say this because I hate everybody but Tampa. And their team.
He's the Oscar the Grouch of hockey.
Like I watch.
Jeez.
But there are teams I hate more. Boston's one of them, and the Rangers are another. But Gallant, what he did with Florida, what he did with Vegas, and I don't know why they dumped him like they did. I mean, what do you?
I don't know.
And then you replace him with DeBoer, who's whatever. But anyway, I think Gallant is going to be fantastic with the Rangers, and if the Islanders don't have, it's like they don't want to win the division. It's like we'll be right there, but that requires a little bit more from us to dig deep to win the division. The Rangers could sneak in with Gallant just because of what he has done. Mm-hmm. And what the Rangers have that has not been molded together yet that Gallant can do.
Right. And like, they're right there. I mean, they're not a bad team. They're just very young. They got to gel. And, Capo Caco, when he came in, it was all, he's going to be awesome. Well, he was so used to that European game. He hated going to the corner. I mean, Lafreniere was better than he was. And Lafreniere's only played, he walked in last year. You figure Caco would step. Now, Caco has stepped his game up a little bit since his, obviously he had to get used to it. I think with Gallant being there, he's going to take these guys and say, listen, we're going to do this. And it's possible to do it because, like you said, look at what he did in Florida. Look at what he did in Vegas. And now it's look at what he's going to do with the Rangers. And
now is this Tortorella doesn't count because he was mostly bark.
Oh, here we go.
But I don't think the Rangers have had an alpha coach since Heenan. Somebody that says I'm the boss.
Yeah.
Tortorella just played that block shots.
Yeah.
Just keep it out of the net. Yeah, but we got to score it. Just keep it out of your net. But we still got to score a goal at some point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Heenan was the last in your face, you screw up, I'll bench you type of coach that the Rangers needed. And Gallant kind of fits that mold.
He's a little more personable.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least able to
communicate with his players.
There you go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So if it ain't this year, you'll take a bigger step. Then I'd hate to see it.
I think you're right. I mean, he's got to get in with his guys. He's got to put his system in, and it takes time. Obviously, everybody knows that. So this year it'll be a learning year, but we'll see how much he changes from what team he has. So I'm hoping, in the next 2-3 years, we could be that number 3, possibly two team with Tampa Bay aging. I mean, it slips. Like it's just going to recycle itself back up to the New York time.
Well, because I'll tell you what, in 2 to 3 years, you're also going to have Detroit, Ottawa, New Jersey, right?
Maybe. I'm still not sold.
Columbus has a ton of prospects coming through now. So the Eastern Conference is going to be basically flip-flopped in about 3-4 years. Max. Yeah. I'll tell you right now.
And they beat the hell out of each other every game. All year long, they beat the hell out of each other. Which is, that's how it is. It's how the Eastern Conference always has been.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope we stay healthy enough that.
Well, that's going to be it, too. Oh, there we go. It's in the air. Dave's happy.
Did it take off?
It did.
Okay.
What is this exactly called anyway? The spacecraft. Is it just...
What's the Dragon spacecraft?
The Dragon spacecraft?
Dragon space. It's gone
because it's got fire coming out the back of it, right?
No.
Right. Anyways, back to hockey. And we're going to shift conferences. We're going to go over to the Western Conference, where Connor McDavid was quoted as saying, "The time is now for the Oilers to become Stanley Cup contenders." Guys, has Edmonton done enough to do that, though?
Zach Hyman's a huge sign.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Yes, it's a great luxury having Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on your team.
Right.
Fantastic.
What have you done for around him?
Exactly. And what did they didn't do is the question. They did not improve their goaltending.
No, they really didn't.
Right.
Okay, so Mike Smith had a couple of good series in the playoffs. Okay, great. But he's 40 years old.
People betting in Vegas are going, I'm riding Mike Smith to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Your money.
Yeah, the bookie's going, okay,
I'll
come here.
Yeah.
No, and I'm going to tell you something right now. Edmonton could eventually be in danger of watching him walk in free agency. I think he's got like 4 years left on his contract. And if it keeps going the way it is, could you imagine if he says, no, you know what? I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to hit unrestricted free agency. This guy's going to be able to sign his check wherever he wants to go.
Or is it going to turn into another Jack Eichel thing?
Well, it depends if his neck holds up. I know that was not in good taste. I couldn't help it.
Oh my God.
I couldn't help it. Sorry.
That just came right out like out of nowhere.
I'm watching this and I got that.
But
but it's true though. I mean, and I'm not really saying that to be facetious. What I mean is if McDavid can avoid major injury.
Yeah.
I mean, because let's face it, if Eichel isn't having these neck problems, you're probably not even talking about him being traded out of Buffalo, to be honest with you. They would have figured it out by now.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, the thing with Edmonton and with especially with McDavid, you know what the problem that they have is? They can't find anybody that can play with him. And the only one that can is Leon Draisaitl, right? So when you have to put Draisaitl on his line with him all the time, now you just weakened your second line.
but
Because that was the great thing about the old Oiler teams, right? They had Gretzky and followed it right up with Messier. A 1-2 punch right down the middle because Messier very rarely played on the same line as Gretzky,
Yeah, very rarely.
right?
full disclosure, I rarely watch West Coast or Western Conference teams.
We got to stay up and watch them.
Is Draisaitl that good
Yes.
to run his own line where he
Yes.
can produce and make other guys better?
Yes.
Or does he?
As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something right now. I think actually Draisaitl is better at making others around him better
Than
McDavid is.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And you think, I mean, now you put Draisaitl and Hyman on the same line? I mean,
Right, but
that'll
the
be-
idea behind bringing Hyman in was putting him with McDavid.
Yeah, and that'll be ridiculous.
Exactly.
That'll be a filthy line. I think that'll be a filthy line.
And I think
And-
they weakened themselves a little bit defensively too, letting Larson go.
Yep.
I mean, they brought in Duncan Keith.
He's old. Again, he's old.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing 12 minutes a game with Chicago.
Yeah.
In his last season. I don't think they've done enough. I'll be honest. I mean, they'll make the playoffs because, admittingly enough, Pacific Division is very weak this year. So they will make the playoffs. But unless they do something about that goaltending, and they're going to have a hard time because of their salary cap situation, because now you've got McDavid, you've got Draisaitl, and now you got Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent Hopkins eating up, I think it's like 40% of their cap.
What?
So you got to make some magic happen with 60% of your cap and for over 3/4 of the rest of your team.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think that whenever the next CBA? When is that?
3 more years.
3 more years.
And this might not even pertain to that. But the fact that nobody would ever want to, rarely do guys sign up in Edmonton or Ottawa or Calgary, Vancouver. Well, it's a beautiful city. So, I mean, Winnipeg. Like, why would you want to play there? Do they have to kind of, or just go, you know what?
Here's what I
TFB?
think. Here's what I think. I think there's nothing you're going to do about weather. Nothing. Right? There's nothing you can do about the currency differences between the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar. There's just nothing really you can do about that. What I do think the NHL ought to do is come up with some kind of a formula to balance things out between the teams that can offer contracts with no state income tax versus the rest of the league, which is like 80% of the rest of the league that has some kind of form of state income tax built into their cap. Because if you think about it for a second, and that's not to punish teams that are in Florida or Texas or Nevada, because I certainly wish I was in that situation, right? I would love to not pay state income tax. That would be great. But let's face it, Tampa Bay and Florida have a tremendous advantage over, say you have a coveted free agent, and it comes down to that free agent playing in, say, let's just say Winnipeg, just for argument's sake. Comes down to Winnipeg or Tampa Bay. Winnipeg has to offer him $2 million more a year to compensate for what that player is going to make in Tampa without the state tax. So they have to have $2 million more of their cap eaten up. So I don't know if it's you, and again, it's a slippery slope because, how do you really fairly do that?
But I mean, in the for the Rangers or down in the city, they pay city taxes, or I don't even know, borough city. Forgive me if I'm, but they have state tax, federal tax,
and they have
federal,
city.
and then city tax. But they don't have a problem attracting free agents in a way. I mean,
true, that's true, but you know what? I think New York City is and especially the Rangers.
Yeah,
the Rangers have the advantage of being Broadway.
You're
right. Look at what it came down between Panarin.
One of the original 6 teams too.
I think that's losing its luster though.
But it doesn't.
Not for a hockey guy.
the younger player or younger fans get.
They got
They
to
don't
hang
care
their
what the
hat on
original
something
six is
because
anymore.
they,
And I wouldn't even hang it on that. Consider Montreal won like 80% of the cups in the original six era. I would probably just stay away from it, but unless I was a Canadiens fan. But I think, I mean, in all fairness, when you look at last, what was it 2 years ago when Artemi Panarin said, "I'm hitting the market," right? The Islanders were all over trying to get him. The Islanders actually offered him more than the Rangers did, but he wanted to play in Manhattan. He wanted to be the star of the show on Broadway. So I don't think to some players, especially like a situation like Panarin, they don't care. And think about it this way too: if you're playing for the Rangers, especially, you're going to get more endorsement opportunities just by where you play.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, culture, and I should say, don't most guys want to go play for the team that wins? Like, I guess I shouldn't say only use Tampa, but with Corey Perry, as much as I hated him before, boy,
now you love him.
Can't wait to bring that third line production. That's going to be our third line answer, Corey Perry.
Yes.
Corey Perry and Ross Colton. But Maroons signing for like $500 or whatever it is, cheap because they want to win. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like Tampa has been like this since 1992. I mean, they've had rough patches beyond belief.
Yeah. So you're right. It has something to do with the team itself.
You
right.
win, and it's not necessarily even winning, but
in an era of a flat cap, especially, that $2 million means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It means a lot. I mean, there's just no getting around it. When you have half the teams right now in the league that are either at the cap or, I mean, within a hair of hitting that number. So and it's gonna don't forget too, the cap is gonna go up, and it's probably gonna go up pretty drastically over the next few seasons, because once all that TV money starts kicking in, and everything starts back to normal, you're gonna see. I wouldn't be surprised at all within 4 years to see the cap like up to $85 million.
You're immersed in all this more than I am.
Yeah, I'm drowning in it.
Have you heard about them throwing that around a luxury? So
it's been like a luxury tax. It's been
something
that's been discussed.
It's been bounced around.
It's been bounced around for a while.
I don't think they'll ever do anything about it, though, to be honest with you. Just because, like I said, once you get past this flat cap era, I don't think anybody's going to care.
What if they went to the owners wouldn't want no salary cap, would they?
No. You'll never see that salary cap go away. Never.
I mean, you'll have super teams be built then.
Yeah. You want to turn this into the NBA? Not really.
Only if it's my team that's winning. That's the only can I care. It was like in the 90s when it was continuously Colorado, Detroit, Dallas, and it was the same a-holes winning, and you're like, all right, already.
And then New Jersey came along with the trap.
And then you have to listen to Clement and Thorne, and
hey, I like those guys.
I love Thorne. Clement.
I love Thorne.
Clement's not bad, but it was just over and over. The idiot Melrose.
Come on.
On TV with his
best mullet ever.
I am jealous of that hair.
Here's like a caricature of the other guys. Just sit there and know what they're talking about, and then you just look at him and go,
I am jealous of that hair.
No, well,
anyways,
we got the. Yeah, where were we?
Yeah. Well, we're going to shift gears because now you're talking about Barry Melrose. Congratulations to El Paso, Texas, Dave. This one's for you.
Yeah.
The 2020 winners of the Kraft Hockeyville will finally get their NHL preseason game on October 3rd when the Arizona Coyotes play the Dallas Stars. The NHL has announced. Now, I got a question for you being from Texas.
Oh, no.
Because I was thinking about this, and this is why I threw this in today. It's El Paso, Texas, right?
Trap me?
Right on the end of the Panhandle, correct? Right in the left corner of Texas.
Okay.
Texas is a huge state.
No, hold on.
Wait.
You said Panhandle
is
Paso
north.
are opposite of each other.
So they're around the
Panhandle
border,
is north.
Oh.
Yeah.
El Paso is southwest.
Well, see, this is why I'm asking you.
Okay.
I'm
sitting here.
Texas geography.
I was there. As soon as I heard the Panhandle and it's on the bottom, I'm going, no, the
yeah, that's why it's anyway.
All right. So my question is this. Well, hold on, I just want to take you away from your space travels for just a second.
They're in
Come
orbit.
back to Earth.
They're in orbit.
202 kilometers high, doing 27,000 miles an hour.
And we lost them.
And we're
No, stop.
they better get a cop over there. They're going awful fast, don't you think?
Yeah. Thank God for that. Yeah.
So where El Paso is, okay? So the Coyotes play in Phoenix. Dallas obviously plays in Dallas, which is closer to El Paso because I know Texas is a huge state.
Yeah, it's people don't realize it. It's almost 900 miles to go across it on I-10. 900 miles.
Right. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Which one is closer? I don't know. I'd say Dallas.
Okay. I was just wondering who's going to be like the hometown favorite.
Yeah. Oh, you
Probably
think travel?
probably the Stars because
Yeah.
it still is Texas,
you're
and
still in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think the Coyotes have a lot of fans anyway. But that's. I just wanted to ask you that. I was just curious. I had to.
It's,
Oh wait, which one was the player that's from Phoenix?
That's Austin Matthews.
Now imagine him going back.
He's probably going to in 2024 when he becomes
Yeah.
an unrestricted free agent.
Think about that.
That's what we were talking about last week. Why they're clearing up all this cap space, getting the new arena built. Oh yeah, get their marquee superstar.
Mhm.
And last but not least, it was 25 years ago today that Team USA won the first ever World Cup of Hockey. This tournament replaced the Canada Cup, which had been the premier international professional hockey tournament at the time. You guys remember that?
I do.
I miss the
I
World
do.
Cup. I loved it. I really do. I would rather see them do that than the Olympics. I would. It was a nice little preseason primer.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have to stop the season.
Right.
I completely missed that tournament, and I just so wish they would bring it back. If you ever get a
long
chance,
ago,
yeah, 25 years.
cow.
You believe that? The NHL Network actually has a great special about that, and it's called the Engineering the Upset or something like that. It was on the other night. It was pretty awesome. Just tells the behind the scenes look at what happened. So, if you ever get a chance, check it out. And we're going to end this. Oh, I'm sorry. What?
What was it called?
Orchestrating the upset. I'm sorry, orchestrating the upset.
Orchestrating
That
the
was
upset.
it. Yep, the story of the 1996 World Cup. So, if you ever get a chance, or I'm sure it's probably on YouTube. If you probably YouTubed it, it's probably on there too.
I'm sure it'll probably be like on demand or something like that.
And I'll tell you, Jeremy, when you see the replay of this, you're going to notice with you having that sign covered like that and the way you have that light, it looks like a duck's head. It really does. I just noticed that. It looks like you have like Howard the Duck peering at you right over your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you're about to get attacked by a duck or something.
Oh yeah. I see it.
Leave him alone. Our season starts next week. We need him. Let's end this segment now, shall we?
soon.
Website of the week is brought to you by 315hockey.com. 315hockey.com is your news hub for all levels of hockey in Central New York. This week's website of the week is quanthockey.com. QUANT hockey.com. This is one of those great sites for if you want to know something just completely irrelevant about teams or players. It's awesome. I mean, I've been diving into, because I've been starting to write an article for Marty's Illegal Stick about Central New York hockey and trying to get birthplaces and all that. So really interesting. If you get a chance, check it out. So we're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to let Dave watch the space travel a little bit more here. And when we come back, we're going to take a ride on this Earth on the Zamboni Time Machine. We'll be back in a minute.
Need to find that gift for someone special? Visit Little Falls Presents at the Stone Mill and Canal Place. Stop by today to find unique artist work, t-shirts, coffee cups, gift towels, greeting cards, tote bags, koozies, and original oil paintings and prints. It's all about the art of the gift. For more information, visit mylittlefalls.com/shop or call 315-508-5310 for details.
Dave is having so much fun in this episode. He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do the Zamboni Time Machine. You know, maybe we should just change it to the spaceship hockey machine or something.
The dragon.
Yes.
The dragon.
The hockey dragon ship.
Yeah, the hockey, whatever.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It didn't
No.
work.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's
Yeah,
right.
We're good.
Exactly.
Run it.
Not this time, Dave.
All right.
The Zamboni Time Machine is brought to you by Zamboni.com, and the Zamboni name is used with permission from the Zamboni Company. This week, the Zamboni Time Machine takes us back to 1976, the year of the first Canada Cup tournament. The Canada Cup tournament was put together after the very successful Summit Series of 1972 and 1974 between Canadian professionals and the Soviet Union. At this time, professional hockey players from the NHL and the World Hockey Association were barred from playing in any international tournaments like the Olympics. So the Canada Cup was created to fill the void. One of the organizers of the tournament was Alan Eagleson, who was at the time the executive director of the NHL Players Association. The Canada Cup tournaments must have been very lucrative, as Eagleson was later convicted of embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars from the tournaments. Great guy. Let's see. The Canada Cup was played 5 times between 1976 and 1991, with most of the games being held in, of course, Canada. The tournament was always made up of 6 teams, which included Canada, the U.S., the Soviet Union, Sweden, Czechoslovakia, and Finland, although West Germany did replace the Finns in one tournament. Canada won 4 of the 5 tournaments, with the only other winner being the Soviet Union in 1981. The most memorable Canada Cup in many hockey fans' minds was the 1987 edition, when Canada won it all, defeating the Soviet Union on a goal scored by Mario Lemieux from Wayne Gretzky and Dale Hawerchuk. The Canada Cup would be replaced by the World Cup of Hockey in 1996, which sadly is now on hiatus as well. And that, my friends, concludes this week's trip on the Zamboni Time Machine. That's another tournament I miss, is that Canada Cup. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I know I'm a little bit older than you guys are, and you probably don't remember the Canada Cup, but I do.
No, you're not older.
Yes, I am. I'm much more, I'm mature.
Mature.
On tour? Yeah.
Well, that too.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
yeah, here we go.
I wanted to see what kind of reaction that was going to get.
How'd you watch hockey back? I'm not being a
Rabbit
because
ears.
but it was, what channel was it on? Like,
So-
the earliest I remember was
It was
USA or Sportsnet.
I'm glad he asked that because you know what?
They filmed it and then delivered it to you at your home, right?
No, it was radio actually, but
They're taking all the old tapes up into space. That's
yes.
what the
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They're taking all the VHS tapes up to the International Space Station so they can watch them there.
No, they were all Betamax.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
No, actually, you're right. USA and ESPN also wound up with a contract, but I used to watch a lot on CBC on Saturday nights because we actually got the Canadian channel
here
Mhm.
in Little Falls.
Yes. Well, I lived in Mohawk, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right up the road.
Yeah.
That wasn't born
Hockey,
and raised here.
hockey
so-
night in Canada.
Yeah, Hockey Night in Canada
Oh, all right.
And that was really great when they went to 2 games instead of 1.
with Cherry. Yeah,
Because they
John
only used to
Cherry.
do 1 game and usually got
Yeah.
the Leafs. But then
Yeah.
the Oilers became a powerhouse. I'm like, well, we got to have these guys on TV all the time. So I get to see the Oilers all the time because they were always the late game. So,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that was,
No kidding.
yep, pretty much. So maybe someday we'll have the Canada Cup or the World Cup back. Maybe when Dave's spaceship comes back to Earth. And with that, we're going to wrap this show up so Dave can watch the rest of it.
There's
circling
nothing to
around
watch now. They're just going round in circles. They're just.
Do you
you're
think they're
done.
on a-
How long are they
bring
going to be
back-
up there?
What do you think they didn't walk on the moon? What are you doing?
Do you really think they'll bring back that World Cup, even though that they just allowed NHL into the Olympics?
As long
now?
as they're allowing the Olympics, no way.
That's the killer.
Yep, exactly.
That's
It's
the
what killed it. The Olympics. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a shame. But if you think about it too, now with the Olympics, how would you do that? Because of the KHL, the SHL in Sweden, Liga in Finland, the DEL in Germany, all these are now professional leagues.
Right.
So, and they're getting close, not quite, of course, but they're getting close to the NHL level. So you would have to basically ban players from those leagues from being in the Olympics as well. Because otherwise it wouldn't be a true amateur tournament anymore.
Well,
Even if you kept the NHL out.
you're going to have to take the traditional college kid.
Right. But how do you do it overseas?
They have college
Because,
kids.
but a lot of those kids that are, a lot of their,
No, they don't. Those kids, they pull them out of high school.
they're on the space station right now. What are you talking about?
They're on the North Panhandle side of Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where that
right,
thing
right.
launched from, right?
Right, from El Paso.
Yes.
North Paso.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's Boca Chica, people. Jesus.
Chica.
Yeah, look it up. God.
I don't know. I think I would love to see college kids in the Olympics. I mean, like you said, it's an amateur thing, but
Yeah.
how
Yeah,
would-
I
how
don't,
would you
like
go?
I said, I think the days of the World Cup and the Canada Cup are unfortunately biased, but
Yep.
it's always a nice memory from the past.
With these
Yeah.
young guys, do they want to play even more than what they put out the effort when they feel like it? In a
Yeah,
way?
you know what though? The players were the ones that pushed to play in the Olympics.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that, to be honest with you. I just think that money rules the world, right?
Yeah.
And I think the league, ultimately the players think that they're going to make more money off their name by being in the Olympics and by, say, playing in the World Cup or the Canada Cup because they're not being paid to play in the Olympics. But you can say, hey, I'm an Olympian. Let's do a commercial with my jersey here. And
Right.
so,
But I mean, you really think that, all right, you're an Olympian on the Olympian team with Sidney Crosby. You're really going to be chosen to do a commercial if you're some junior level that made the team just by chance as a scratch player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the other problem.
I know.
Did we discuss this last at your place? Pardon. Last week, where it's like the gold medal would be like their client, their shining moment because they play on teams that they're not going to sniff a cup. I may not look that far ahead, but it's like, hey, I won all these scoring titles and I got a gold medal.
Yeah.
How do you do in the playoffs?
Right.
Yeah, well, I got a gold medal.
Yeah, good for you.
Canada will prop them up just like
sure. Oh, I don't know, guys. Well, I do know that none of us will be playing in the Olympics anytime soon, unfortunately. And I do know that we have to end this episode so that Dave can get back to watching his orbit. He's getting all upset over there. How many more times are they going to go around, by the way? I just want to know. You don't know? Are they up there for the rest of the night? Or are they coming back tonight?
No, they're not coming back tonight.
Oh, well, all right.
I actually forgot.
You don't have like a prop. You don't have a globe in the other room, and then you got like this mock plane going around.
Oh boy!
If I did, you would be going around it right now.
Just make sure he's got a Marty's Illegal Stick shirt on, so that when they pan in on him, everybody
Can you
sees
get
it.
this guy out of state like tomorrow?
We'll work on it.
All right.
We'll work on it for you. Oh boy! Well, that's all we got for this episode. I hope you had as much fun as we did listening to that. So, you can find us on martysillegalstick.com, which, by the way, we're starting to put some articles on there for your reading pleasure as well. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube at Marty's Illegal Stick Hockey Podcast. And for full episodes, go to My Little Falls on all major podcast platforms and on YouTube as well. For Matt Bobniak, for Jeremy the Professor Roberts, for Dave the Save Roberts, and we want to thank Coach Heenan for coming on once again. I'm Scott Kinville. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.